Now, Rod Stewart was met by boos from a German crowd while showing support for Ukraine at a concert last weekend. He dedicated his song Rhythm of My Heart to Kyiv as the Ukrainian flag was projected on the screen behind Sir Rod.
Yes, while photos of the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky were also shown at the concert, much to the dismay, apparently, of booing fans.
Well, does this show more about Rod Stewart or more about the German audience? Let's speak now with the showbiz reporter Stephanie Takey, who thinks celebrities should not be staying out of politics, and political commentator Emma Webb, who thinks they should. Emma, let's start with you. What's wrong with showing a Ukrainian flag?
Look, let's first park the fact that I am pro-Ukraine. I do, to a degree, agree with Rod Stewart on this issue. So let's park that because that's besides the point. But ultimately, you know, these people have paid for over €100 for this ticket. They shouldn't be lectured or preached to by the person that they're going to see, and it's also an issue, you know, within the broader sort of political climate. Look, we know that this is quite contentious in East Germany. They're more critical than the rest of Germany. Polling has found that almost a half of them think that too many weapons are being sent to Ukraine. So this is a contentious issue in East Germany, where Leipzig is. It didn't happen in Hamburg. Apparently not the whole audience booed. Some of the people in the audience apparently applauded against the booers. So I think that this is complex political issue in the context of East Germany, but also I think it creates this atmosphere where other artists feel that they're compelled to preach to their audiences, where many people will have just paid for these tickets because they want to escape real life, they want to watch a musician performing their art that they enjoy, and they shouldn't have political issues shoved down their throats.
I mean, Stephanie, is it safer for artists just to, you know, get on stage, sing their songs, play their music, and just leave politics, foreign affairs, geopolitics, you know, at the door?
No, that's absolutely boring. In this day and age, we all have a right to freedom of expression, and even more so when you're an artist and you've got a big platform where you can make a change. If you are actually a dedicated Rod Stewart fan, you would know that he's been talking about the war in Ukraine over the past 2 years. It's a subject that he feels about greatly, deeply. You know, he's even hound refugees from Ukraine, build them a home, furnish them for them to have a better lifestyle. So if you support Rod Stewart, you will know that when you go to his concert, it's Rod Stewart's concert. It means he decides what he's going to dictate about and what he's going to talk about and what he's going to sing about. And Ukraine, unfortunately, has been one of those issues where it's yet to be resolved. And I think if you are a celebrity and you have a big platform in this day and age, you can't just be an artist anymore and not stand for anything. Your real fans will appreciate that, and the ones who are going to be critical, I guarantee you they will still go and see Rod Stewart at another concert because they appreciate his music. We can't just think celebrities and artists now are people who don't have any trail of thought or opinion on what's going on in the world. It's happened from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and it's even going to happen even more so in this day and age of social media.
Yeah, I mean, Emma, if we park Rod Stewart, because, of course, our government policy is to support Ukraine, and it's not, you know, the most controversial necessarily topic, not necessarily even political, one might argue. But let's have a look at, you know, what has happened with Barclays. Now, they've suspended their sponsorship of all music festivals staged by promoter Live Nation this year because several acts took it upon themselves to pull out of the events in protest at the bank's investment links to arms companies that trade with Israel. So essentially, artists are pulling out, putting pressure on sponsors because of their political opinions over the war in Gaza. Is that different?
Look, I think it's an atmosphere of art becoming politicised, and that's what you're seeing in the decision to pull out. You know, it's not just about the music anymore. Everything has to be about politics. Everything is political. And now Stephanie's right. Rod Stewart does put his money where his mouth is, and he has been very supportive of Ukrainian refugees. But having a giant picture of Zelensky up behind you on stage, particularly, it's maybe not so controversial here in the UK, but it is more so in East Germany. I think that this is lecturing to the crowd. And I do think, of course, everybody has a right to freedom of expression. Our artists also do have their opinions, but there's a time and a place and there's a way to do it. And what Rod Stewart did was a political stunt. It was hectoring. It was lecturing to anybody in the crowd who didn't agree with him. It was using the platform to push a particular perspective on the crowd. And now that's not to say that, of course, he is entitled to his opinion and he's entitled to put his money where his mouth is and do whatever he likes in support of Ukraine more generally. But actually what we're seeing here is a much broader issue, as you mentioned there, Emily's, with Barclays Bank, of the politicization of art. And it's always a politicization down a particular, let's say, orthodox line, progressive orthodox line. And I just think that in all of that, the art itself gets lost and fans are sick of it.
Okay.
They want to go and see the music.
Okay, Emma, we're running out of time, so just a final word to Stephanie.
Well, I just think, you know, in this day and age now, there's so much transparency. I think a lot of people tend to think celebrities are, you know, they're just kind of about show and tell, but I don't see it as lecturing. I see it actually informing people and making sure that both artists and both people who do go to this show, ignorance is no longer bliss in this day and age. We all have to be aware what's going on. And if people have got platforms where they can speak about what's going on and they want to make a stand, they should have every right to do so.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Very interesting points made on both sides. Stephanie Tecci and Emma Webb, thank you very much indeed.